Hello, welcome to Beyond Film School, where I tell you all about the film industry. I'm Amber. If you don't know, I hope you know who I am. If you're joining my live stream, you probably know who I am. And today we're going to be talking about the winter month slowdown. How work just slows down January, February, starts to pick up in March, and we're also going to talk about film fatigue and pretty much I don't know, like career moves. I feel like I really gotta talk about that because I've been seeing some trends. So if you are watching me live, give me a hey in the chat or any comments you would questions, comments, concerns. Like I say in my video, if you want to ask a question, feel free. I'm always open to take any questions. And also, if you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. So I hope you get something out of this video. So I want to talk about the winter months. So since my transition, I have gone from the TV world into movies. I kind of made the conscious decision to get off network TV because, TV shows are 9 months, 10-month jobs. If you're talking like 18, 19, 20, 22 episodes, you have job security for like 9, 10 months. So I made the decision to walk away, do movies, because one, I like the variety. I like not knowing what I'm doing for the year. I like different locations, different jobs, working for different people, different projects. I love the variety. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't like the lack of job security. So I have decided to move to movies. And with that, I haven't gotten a lot of work in January. Right now, I am doing a lot of day playing, keying for other shows, people asking if I can fill in, which I'm totally fine with that because I have more time to work on Beyond Film School, make videos, write videos, do live streams, and then work on Beyond Film School, the classes that I hold, the resume workshop and the CPA class that I do. So I have more time for other things, which I am grateful for. That I have lived so far beneath my means that like I have just gotten used to like no income, like barely anything. So any type of AD money that I make or whatever, I'm just kind of like stockpiling that. I don't go for a bigger car or a bigger apartment. I don't have a really huge payday yet, but with my recent DGA acceptance, well, waiting for membership acceptance, but I got my book in. So times are going to change. I am going to make more money, thankfully, because, man, being PA for so long is very, very, very hard. And a lot of people make the mistake of, like, once they start getting that consistent money and then they realize, oh, wait, now I'm not on a TV show. Now I have to, like, kind of scramble and just try and like survive my way through winter months, or like even sometimes May and June is also a slow month for filmmaking and for TV and stuff. So because a lot of shows, they wrap up in April, Mayish, sometimes at the end of March. Then like the streaming stuff like Paramount and Amazon and Hulu, they have like different schedules. So like they start shooting around April or May, and then the movies start coming in May and June, July, August, and all the way through the winter, or all through the fall, sorry. And then when Christmas, that whole like holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, that's when everything starts to slow down. So my advice is, if you do want a lot of consistent work, especially during the winter months, so you don't have to worry about January, February, March, like I haven't in the past couple of years because I was on a TV show, working TV. Try to find a network television show like CBS, NBC, ABC, or even like Fox shows. I believe Stars and Showtime also have longer episodes, episodic seasons as well. So looking for those types of shows. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So work in TV is my best advice. If you are not into like, because some people really have that, I have high anxiety if I don't know where my next job is coming. So I mean, I actually got this comment the other day. I was filling in to key on the equalizer, and they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, just hopping around, doing movies, filling in here, filling in there. And they were like, how do you survive just not knowing what job you're going to be on? I'm like, I love it. Like, I love the variety. I love the spontaneity, and I would never give it up. That's why I work in film, because of the freelance life really suits my personality, and I don't know, like I I don't know if anyone else has this, but like when I know I'm on a show for 10 months, I feel like almost exhausted. Like the commitment is overwhelming for me. And I'm like, what if I don't like it 5 months in? And I actually had that when I worked on New Amsterdam. When right before the pandemic hit, I was working on New Amsterdam since July of 2019, and then we went all the way into March of 2020, and the season was going to end in April of 2020. And I was like, I was ready. By like February, I was like, I gotta get off this job. I gotta do something else. But I refuse to quit. If I'm staffed, I don't quit. I've only quit one job in my life, and that was actually in September. It was this, let's just say, a Christmas movie. I will not say who it was for, but I quit that job, and that was the only job I quit. So if I usually stay committed, and I don't quit jobs if I am committed and I'm staffed. So I was like, let me just finish this through. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh my God, such a lovely need to break, but not. Then I was off for like 9 months, which was crazy. So yeah, TV is your friend if you are really looking for stable work. But if you're in movies, and you're in like I guess the streaming services where they have like limited series or shorter type of shows, like they only have like 8 episodes or something like that, and they only shoot for like 3 months or 4 months, then you really, I'm not gonna say you really gotta hustle, but you gotta really make sure you have some really good connections, and you gotta check in with them. Don't be afraid to check in. And this is actually happening right now because I'm a key PA, because I do my Beyond Film School set PA class. I have a lot of, some of my mentees and some of my trainees are just like, what should I do? Or, should I be worried? And I'm like, it was like the day after, it was like January 2nd, and one of my mentees, she was like, should I be worried? Like, keep me in mind if you have any work. And I'm like, girl, I'm going to call you if I have work. Like, there's just no work. I have no work right now. I'm not on anything. It's the second. Like, no one's even working right now. So there are people still coming back from holiday. So, like, just take a breath. Don't worry too much. The work is going to come if you have people who have your back. But on the flip side of that, if you are just joining the film industry right now, this is your time to grind. This is your time to like reach out to people, because not a lot of people are doing a lot of things. So they have time to like answer their emails. They have time to take a phone call. They have time to like maybe message you on, any of the like social media, like TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, whatever. They have time, or even if you're gonna tweet somebody, like they have time to kind of get back to those, because they're not really deep in work yet. So January, February is like a really good time to reach out and really start to like do that cold emailing and like reaching out to people who like you wouldn't normally reach out to because you think they're too busy or you don't want to bother them. So this is like the perfect time for that, so just keep that in mind. There is pros and cons. It's the silver lining is that like not many people are busy, so they are more likely not to forget something that you sent them or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. This is your time to reconnect with folks, reach out to people you don't know, and just kind of keep at it. Like that's another thing I just have to tell people in the winter months. Like, don't give up. If you quit the industry in like January, February, or March, I feel like that's just the wrong time to give up. Like, there's not much going on. There's only a few things happening, and it's really like everyone's going to hire the people they know, and they're not really going to be open to, hiring new people they don't know. So just keep that in mind. So don't quit in I would say if you were to quit from November, like mid-November to mid-February, I feel like that's just not the right time to quit and give up. So be persistent, don't give up, and don't worry too much where your next job is going to come, or don't worry too much about like breaking in these months, because I moved to New York, and I moved to New York in the wrong time. Like when I relocated, I moved to New York before Thanksgiving, about a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, and I just said mid-November is when the work starts like going, it starts declining. So I moved to New York in mid-November, and then I remember I took like a job at Macy's. I took a job at Macy's just to like get by and pay like my rent. And I didn't get my first set job until like maybe end of February, I believe. And then I got another, and then that's when I found like my real big break. When I like went up into the building and like handed my resume to a person I didn't know, whatever, and they hired me on Gotham, the pilot that no one ever heard of. Not the Gotham that you all know, but the Gotham that like no one, they never saw the light of day. that I got on that show in March, because pilot season is still March, whether you know it or not. Pilot season is March. That's when all the new shows start shooting. And then in February is when you gotta like start really like hitting it hard to reach out to people, because that's when people start prepping their pilot shows and they start staffing their shows. So keep that all in mind. February is a really, really good time to grind. So like it is January 30th, right? So February is like tomorrow and Tuesday. February 1st is my birthday. So like February is a time to grind. I was like, wait, when's my birthday? It's good Tuesday. So Tuesday, February, that's when you gotta start like really reaching out to people, hitting up those Facebook groups. Those job postings are gonna start flooding. They're gonna start coming. Like, trust me on that. Like, do not worry about the jobs, because like take a few weeks off, because I'm kind of in the same boat right now. Like, I'm not staffed on anything right now. And I know a lot of the ADs are like, I have stuff coming in March. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm working on other things. I'm day playing. I'll get like a couple of days here and there. So I'm like, I'm not worried about it. And plus, if I do get worried, I will start reaching out to people. I will definitely start reaching out to people like, hey, don't forget about me. But also, like, you just make sure you check in with people. Check in with what people are doing. Don't let them forget about you. And I think that is one major thing that people are always afraid to do, especially when they're first starting out. I had the same problem. I had the exact same problem, was making sure to reconnect. Like, a couple weeks ago, I had an AD say, hey, you're gonna reach out to me, end of January, right, for this job that's happening in New Jersey. And I'm like, yeah, if you want me to reach out to you and I need a job, like, I will definitely reach out to you. And it's up to me. He is putting it in my, like he's putting it in my court. Balls in my court. Like, it's in my corner right now. Like, I have to reach out to him. But then he reached out to me anyways to be like, hey, I may like 100% need you. So just make sure you cash in. When people say, hey, email me this time, I tell all my trainees, I say, hey, bother me in 2 weeks. Send me another text, because I will forget. I get so many texts. I'm in group texts and producer threads, and like obviously I have my own life, and then I have like friends or whatever, and it's just like things get lost. So don't get mad. Always be like, hey, I'm just following up on that. I texted you a few weeks ago, whatever. And if they don't want to reach out to you, the worst they can be like is like, hey, I ain't got nothing, or just ignore you. So don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But make sure you check in with people and you bother them. It's not really bothering them. For me, I need people to do it, because I'm going to forget. And I know a lot of people are like me. And I just had that happen to me the other day, where a friend of mine gave me a name who was trying to break in, wants to be a PA, wants to learn. And they're like, hey, this is the number, blah, and this was back in like, I think November or December or something like that. Saw the person on set the other day, and they were like, hey, you remember I gave you that name? And I was like, okay, yes. I have nothing right now, but I'm going to keep that person in mind. I will give that person a chance. I will keep them in mind, and I'll give them the day, to prove that they're like a good PA and they can like work for me. As always, questions, please leave them in the chat. Always happy to answer any questions, guys. So I don't want anyone to worry about work. I know it's dry right now. I know that it's tough. So just don't worry about it. So moving on to my next topic, film fatigue. Now, with TV, and it's kind of like a weird, it's a weird, I guess, you want the work, but then you get tired and you're like burnt out, right? You want the job security, but then you're like, I gotta go in Monday. Oh, I didn't get enough rest. I don't have, you feel like you just can't catch up. And that's what happens a lot of time when you are working in TV. And I definitely felt that way. And maybe you're taking too many jobs, or maybe you're just not giving yourself enough rest in between jobs. And I feel like there's a lot of work right now. There's a lot of TV shows. There's a ton of stuff happening right now. But also with that, I'm seeing, since I am bouncing around show to show, I'm getting like all the intel on all the things that are happening on all these shows. And a lot of people are, a lot of my friends that are in the film industry, they're like sharing this stuff with me too. A lot of people are quitting. A lot of people are like done with it. And they're just like, they're tired. They're like, I wasn't happy. It's not what I thought it was. And here's here's what I will say. If you are not happy working, I feel like there's got to be a deep dive there. Um, Working in film, working on set, especially as a set PA or in the AD department, it is not what you think. It is hard work. It is sometimes it can be you're working with people who do not care about your emotions, do not care about how you're treated, and that sucks. I don't condone that, and I don't usually work for people who condone that type of stuff, but it exists in the film world, like full on. So I just want to say you really have to think about what is making you unhappy. And a lot of the times, the reason why you're not happy on set is because, yes, it's stressful. And yes, maybe your bosses suck. And, there is a lot of negative stuff happening. But there is sometimes that you are going to be, your mind as a human being likes to focus on the negative stuff, likes to just remember all the bad things that happened, because I think it's just human nature. And it's really, really, really hard to focus on the positive and to make sure that you are taking that like one little morsel of positivity and that one little good moment, and you're like, yes, I'm waiting for a moment like that, and I think that you have to really remember, you really have to hold on to those moments to get you through the tough times. And I'll never forget, that was one thing that was told to me when I first even thought about transitioning into the AD department from camera. It's like, it is hard and no one cares about your feelings, and you have to hold on to those good positive moments to get you through those like crappy days. So I would say just make sure you keep that in mind. And it's a long game. It is, okay, now to put this in perspective, I first started, like my first ever thing was, I believe, in 2007. It was a feature film that was shooting on the weekends. And yes, I was still in school, and I was a camera assistant. I was I was setting up lights. I was setting up stands. I basically was like the PA that did everything. And then I started like honing in on camera. And from that moment all the way up until the time, my goal, when I transitioned from camera, which I did camera for a couple years, and then I see 2009 was when I really decided, I was like, okay, AD department, 100%. Then I transitioned. Then I'm like, oh crap, now I gotta start all over again. And I decided to do that. So now I'll take out the 2 years I did on the cruise ship, and I'll take out the year I did in distribution, and I'll take out the year I did in broadcasting. So I'm just gonna take out 3 or 4 years out of this. And let's see, 2007 till now, that's like 13, 14 years. So 10 years. And I just got my book in for the DGA. So if you are on the AD track, if you are like doing your 600 days as a set PA, and you're really like, okay, I want to be promoted. I want more money. I want more responsibility. I was an additional PA for like years before I got staffed as a PA. And that's what everyone hopes for, is like when you're a PA, when you're an additional, you just want more responsibility. You want to be staffed. You want to be like someone that the ADs know and they hire. And it took me, 14 years from start to finish since I started my career. So 10 years of actual like on-set AD department stuff from the time I started as an additional PA to the time that I was able to submit my book to the DGA and then get it accepted, because it was rejected in October. Then I had to resubmit it, and then it was accepted, and I just got the call like last week. So, and then I have to wait for my DGA application to go through. So that's already in. I'm still waiting for that. It's been about 3 weeks now, and you're thinking like it's 10 years from the time that like I started being an additional PA to the time that I was actually, even considered to be able to apply to the DGA. It is a long game. And I think that it's horrible to kind of like mix that into the world of instant gratification. It really, really sucks. So I'm just like, you have to pace yourself. Make sure you give yourself a break. Because when I think about like all the vacations I took and all the time I gave myself time off in between jobs, like what I remember my first staff job being, a background PA on this NBC show, and they wrapped. And when I, I was planning my vacation, my 12-day vacation, like when we wrapped. So they gave us a wrap date. I planned my like wrap vacation, and I just was like, I'm going. I booked my flights, whatever. Like, I'm going on vacation. And then they extended the show, and I was like, I'm not going to work the last 2 days. And I didn't. And the thing is that they gave me some shit for it, but like, honestly, they were like, okay, they kept extending. And if the show keeps extending, you are not required to keep that job. Like, you are not required, because it's like, they give you an initial wrap date, you go with that, you schedule that. Like, people schedule things, and they don't own you. They can't make you do anything. It's like, hey, I have this thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have this thing you have to do, thing in your life. Like, hold your ground. Be like, I'm not like sacrificing my vacation. I'm not sacrificing all that money I paid for that vacation. No, get out of here. Like, you're insane. Like, and like, I've heard of people like really giving up, like, oh, this weekend they were supposed to go to a friend's wedding, or I'm like, you're insane. Leave your life, because all you're going to do is regret the fact that you didn't go, and plus you also need those moments, like the regular human moments that we all love. You need those in your life to survive in film. Like there's no, like, I love work. I love going to set. I love the challenge of the day. I love when someone wants to fight with me. I mean, I live for those moments where I'm like, you know what? You want to fight about sides right now? I'm like, I guess I'm very much more like a confrontational person. Like, I cannot, like, you want to go, we're going to go. Like, it's fine. But also, like, it's about how can we get past this? Like, how can I get past this? Like, how can I solve this problem for us? So that is just something, like, I want everyone to keep in mind when you are starting to be like, oh, I can't do this job. Then you gotta think about, like, the enrichment. Like, are you getting enough sleep? First of all, are you drinking enough water? Now, first of all, you should be drinking like 120 ounces of water a day, at least. For people who are like taller, bigger stature, whatever, like, you should be drinking more water. Like, there should be like constantly water drinkage happening. Okay. So, just keep that in mind. Health, sleep, which I know is very, very hard. Social life when you can, reading, writing, like making sure your brain is like working, like practice, like puzzles, Sudoku, stuff like that. You have to just make your brain work in different ways. And don't default to going on your phone. Like, you can't do that. You can't just like scroll TikTok for hours, like I know people love doing, but it's like, you really gotta like get off your phone for a second, because that's one thing when you're a PA or anyone in the industry. It's like, there's so many people who are texting you or calling, especially if you're a Best Boy Grip, Best Boy Electric, or like you're a second AD, or anyone in the AD department. Like, honestly, your phone is buzzing like all the time. Key PA, transpo, like, no, your phone is constantly going off. So you need to find a time. Get the hell off your phone, get off social media, stop looking at the screen, and just like look at something else, and try not to watch TV. Like, you have to get away from screens. So I think the blue light, obviously, definitely, you guys all know, like, blue light is definitely a factor. So hi, Eric. Eric has a question. Are American taxes easy to do? I'm from Europe, especially when American companies have different policies for tax returns. From what I understand, since taxes here are very, very different from the rest of the world, I think that Europe, don't they just automatically take taxes out? Like, don't they just like know what you owe and they take it? Like, I don't know how European taxes work, but the American tax system is crazy. It is very, very hard to do taxes. It depends on how much you're making, and it very much varies, like, based on the tax brackets, if you have a house, if you're married, if you have money in stocks, if you're getting dividends, if you own a business, if you own a house and you're renting out to somebody, like, the taxes are crazy. So when you're working, for me, how, like, the money I make from Beyond Film School, yes, I have to file taxes. I have to tell, the IRS how much I've made, how much, expenses I have spent, and based off that figure, then I'm taxed on that, and that's how much I owe, and blah, 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 blah. So taxes are, like, not not like easy in America. If anything, I think we have the most difficult tax system. Like, honestly. So a question from Ennis. How long does it take to go from PA to AD, and how do you know you're ready for it? That's a really, really good question. Thank you so much for that. So, like I said, it took me from additional PA. 2012 was like my first real 2012 first real additional job like on a union set, and then it took me about literally 10 years minus like 2 or 3, so like 7 to 8 years. I would say it would take to in the union world. So here's the thing, my timeline, I will shorten it. I will say about 6 years. I'm gonna say 6 years. If you were like on union sets, start to finish, all the time, didn't like leave the industry, I'm gonna say 6, 7 years. But I've also had other ADs, DGA ADs, say it takes about 10 years, which is kind of crazy. But also, if you want to look into the book review that I did for Getting It Done, I will leave a link to that if you guys want. They like Josh, he writes like the timeline like of like ADs and stuff like that. And I can actually probably grab that book right now and grab it and get the timeline. But I would say about 6 years to get to like additional AD. Now that's with you doing additional PA. So here's the thing, you should always start as additional PA because additional PA responsibilities are very different from staff PAs. Like if you're a first team PA, if you're a background PA, if you're a paperwork PA, which is only in New York, if you are a walkie PA or the key PA. So you have to do all those jobs. And you have to run, meaning like you're running the first team or like you're helping on set or whatever. So there are so many positions and you have to make sure you hit up all positions. If you want a well-rounded like background as an AD and you want the highest chance of being hired as an AD and you want you're most sought after, because it's like, for example, if I have never been an additional PA and then I'm a key PA, I've never done their job and I'm leading them and I'm managing that team. So it's kind of like I need to be an additional PA to know what they feel like. And then to make sure that there's that saying that, you don't ever give anybody a responsibility or something to do that you wouldn't do. So it's kind of like, if I'm not going to do that job or if I don't know how they feel, I am almost like a bad key PA. And you know what I mean? Like I have respect for my additionals. They have to do so many different things. So it's like they have to be an additional PA in order to be a good key PA. And when you're ready, and that's the thing, is that the DGA requirements, 600 days, right? 600 days if you are going to join the commercial QL, and that is the qualifying list that you have to submit your days to. And I'm going to have a video on it. It's in the works. I'm talking to the people that approve the books. I'm working with them to get this video done. But I honestly think that even with those 600 days, and I've done more than 600 days, I've done like well over probably 800 based on all the short films I've done as a first AD, the second AD stuff, indie stuff I've done, and the union stuff, and all the different types of projects that don't count towards your book getting into DGA. If I just solely did 600 days, I don't believe that you would truly be ready. And how do you know you're ready? I feel like you know when you're ready when you're like, yeah, I can lead a team. I can train a walkie PA, someone who has never done it, and I can tell them how to do it. Or I can tell a background PA how to do that. And I can help them and I can empower other PAs and stuff like that. So it's kind of like knowing all the positions and stepping into the AD role. It's a training position because you are training PAs. Like you are helping people, like do that job. So it's like if you can train someone to be the PA positions, then it's like, yes, you could be an AD. Also, are you prepared to talk to the people who are VIPs, producers, directors, like, can you confidently talk to those people, getting comfortable with those types of folks. So like knowing you're ready, it's like watch the ADs that you're working with and then really put yourself in that position and be like, hey, I think I can do this, or maybe I'm not ready for that just yet. And like, make sure you're asking questions like how they do their job and like how they're dealing with stuff and how, maybe they know they're ready. Like I know I'm ready. And I feel like the only reason why I know I'm ready to be a DGA AD is because of all of the indie stuff I did as an AD, which is kind of like weird because I feel like if you came up in the union world, and you were just a PA and then you're applying to be an AD and you've never AD'd before, it's kind of like, for me, I gained my confidence in being an indie first AD and second AD. So that's how I know I was ready, because I can handle, talking to a director, making the schedules, and like I learned that all in the indie world. So like people talk shit about the indie world all the time, but I'm here to tell you like that really really trained me to like get ready to be an AD. So Eric, you have another question. Do you have to sign an NDA like in big projects and major spoilers? So here's the thing. Yes. With most everything that I have worked on, there's always an NDA. You don't tell anybody anything. And it can get really, really strict. Like, for example, the script pages for the day, they hand them out in the morning and they collect them at the end of the day. And they get shredded. So they have to make sure that like everything is watermarked with your name on it. So if anything gets leaked, they know who to go to, and then you'll be fired. Like, no joke. So like Power was a really good one for that. Like when Power was out on, I think, Stars, right? They were really like, there were so many people who were looking for like the plot lines that like people would steal sides. So they had to like take people's script pages back and like shred them once we were done shooting them. Like sometimes they don't even give out the whole script to people. Like even the actors, like for example, Avengers Endgame and like Iron Man and Spider-Man, like all those movies, they give the actors just their scenes. And sometimes the actors don't even know the whole scope of the movie. And that's how serious it like really, really get for NDAs. Theodora. Hi, Theodora. Theodora. I feel like I'm saying Theodora. Sorry. How do you go from PA to first AC? So if anyone doesn't know, production assistant to a first assistant camera. First AC is going to be your focus puller. So everyone's on the same page here, so everyone knows what I'm talking about. How to get from PA to the camera department. Now, here is the thing. What I'm going to tell you is definitely work in the indie world and work in the union world. When you're a PA, all you need to do is make friends with camera. Make friends with the people who are in the department that you want to be in. This is like, I tell everyone this. I swear to you it works. It's like ironclad. If you get to know the people in the department that you want to be a part of and they like you, they will help you get into that department. Honestly, 100%. Now, it does take a few years to get to the first AC in the union world. In the indie world, this is where you're going to really gain your experience with like using a remote focus puller and also learning the old school ways as well, because sometimes you can't really use a remote focus puller. So I will highly recommend that you have to talk to the people in camera and you have to befriend them. And sometimes you're not going to mesh with all the, like maybe you might be on a movie or a TV show that they don't really have a nice camera department. Well, you know what? On your next one, connect with those folks. And all you have to do is be like, don't outwardly be like, I want to be you guys one day. You have to be like, hey, I'm interested in camera. Just like, what can I learn from you? Where did you start? Like, I want to be you one day, that type of stuff. So you have to start with flattery, but because you want to be them, right? So it's coming from like a real genuine place and you have no idea where to start, So that is how you do it. You're going from PA to any department, whether it is writing, talk to the writer. If you are wanting to be a script supervisor, talk to that person. If you want to be a first AD, talk to them. And I talk to my first ADs all the time because I want to know what they know and I want to learn from them so much, because I'm not a union first yet. That's going to be at least 3-4 years down the line for me. I'm a first AD on indie stuff, which like I know the mechanics, but then like working with bigger projects and bigger money and like bigger stunts and all that stuff. So it's like, talk to the people that you want to be. You have like literally, that's like the best advice I can give you is like, make sure you're talking to them, but also like learning gear, learning equipment, working at a rental house for camera as well. If you want to get to know people who are in camera, rental houses is a way to do it too. You in the indie world will start probably as a camera PA. Sometimes they don't have them on all shows because the camera PA and local 600 with the camera union that is actually nationwide around the United States is like, they're really weary of like getting camera PAs because sometimes they'll fill the duties of a loader, and a loader is going to be the one who does like the media download and like they're, changing batteries, changing the media and all that stuff. So they are kind of, weary of the camera PA, but some shows do have them. Camera PA loader, second AC, then first AC. So there is a ladder that you have to climb. I hope that answers your question. Actress Angie, our first team and or base camp PAs typically paid more than other PAs. Hard no. No. Sorry. I know that's not what you want to hear. That is not the case. Unfortunately, all PAs are paid the same. If the only PA that is paid more sometimes is going to be the key PA because they're managing all the PAs and, they're the department head, I guess you would say. So first team PAs, base camp PAs are not paid more. I wish they were. I mean, honestly, I wish all the PAs were paid more. Like, it doesn't make sense that the PAs on, like, who are staff PAs, they're not paid more than additional PAs, which is like, I've been a PA for like 3 years and I'm experienced. I'm running your actors around the set and like I'm getting them ready, or like I'm getting 100 background ready, but I'm getting paid as the same as the additional PA that just started and they're doing their first day. I find that to be such an injustice. I can't stand it. Like, oh God, I can't. Yeah, Andrew, it's called Getting It Done. Yeah, it definitely, I feel like I gotta pull up in order to interact with you. Oh wait, I can interact with you guys. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Ines, I didn't catch the name of the book that you were talking about. Can you say it again? Oh yeah, so yeah, Getting It Done. So it is called Getting It Done. Is by Joshua Friedman. Oh God, Friedman. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Getting It Done is called Getting It Done. Do filmmakers, from Eric again, do filmmakers use SD cards as industry standard or is custom to the camera brand? SD cards, they're, oh gosh, what are they called? Some do use SD cards, but then there's others that are custom to the camera that fit. They're like bigger. They're like huge. I don't know what they're called. I can't think of the name right now, but I have seen them, but they're bigger cards. But yeah, so it is going to be like, customized to the camera. Is it written by yes. You're welcome, Theodora. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for your questions. This is great. So yes, I will say that I don't want people to worry about jobs. I don't want worry about people networking or like I don't want to CFAS. What's that? CFAS? What's that? What are you talking about? Gaffer and grip. Hi. Let's see. Yo, my thing won't. Uh-oh. There we go. My camera's not focused. Jesus Christ. Yes. So he's right. Yeah, that is the name of the card. Yes. I was like, I had no idea what was card. I was like, yes. Yeah. SSD. Yes. I was like, it's a thing. See, I'm not in camera anymore, so like I'm definitely out of the loop with like any type of gear that camera's using, and that's probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a DP back in the day. I really, really did, and I was like, I love camera stuff, but then also I didn't obsess over the gear, and I think that's one major thing about being in those departments is like loving the gear and loving the toys you get to play with. Thank you so much, Gaffer and Grip, for that, because that's so useful. Thank you so much. If you have anyone has any other questions before I wrap up this live stream, I've been doing it for about almost 40 minutes. So I am going to wrap this up and let everyone know that I'm going to try to make this a habit. Every Sunday, 1 o'clock. So get your questions ready. Know that I'm going to be here. I am off to see a friend of mine. Our birthdays are so close together that we're celebrating together, and we can't really do a big celebration with like groups of people because of Omicron and how fast that shit spreads. And everyone's like dropping. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to mention. Right now, there are so many people that are dropping like flies because of like, not dropping, I feel like that's really bad to say, but from the shows, like they are testing positive for Omicron. They're rapid testing like every day, and they are testing everyone every day, and they'll test positive, and then they are just like, they're gone from set, they go to quarantine, and then a job opens up. So then you're like getting calls at like 4, 5 in the morning to like fill in to fill in for somebody. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are connected and you have people who you can reach out to them, put yourself into their mind, because when they have a cancellation, they're going to need to call somebody, and the last person they talk to is probably going to be the person they're like, oh yes, I talked to them the other day, I'm going to call them, I need them to come in. Happens all the time. Just happened on Friday. A second called out. Then a friend of mine got called at 4:29 in the morning to fill in, to come in at 6 o'clock in the morning to fill in for a second. And of course he came in. He was like, and he said he was on a weird sleep schedule too. He's like, I've been on a weird sleep schedule. I've been falling asleep at like 3-4 in the morning. And then like my friend called him to fill in as a second. And he was like, of course I'm going to come in. He was probably exhausted, but he was like, that is definitely the way that it happened. So like, because of COVID, people are, and how fast it spreads and how much more infectious it is, maybe not as severe, but like if you have it, you're not working on set. So that's the thing, is if people call out sick, just know to keep connecting, because there's going to be a spot that you may get work for a week because that person has to quarantine for like 10 days. I think they're sticking to 10 days, not 5 days. With the, making sure that they're isolated and stuff, and plus close contact, they just like, when one person tests positive, it's like they're taking out 3 or 4 folks, depending on who they were eating lunch with or next to all day, or if they are exposed more than 15 minutes to each other or whatever. So it's like, keep that in mind. There are spots that are going to open up. So, and luckily that hasn't been the reason why I was filling in for people. Oh, actually it was. I filled in on Law and Order because there was like massive exposure, and like I got a couple days from that show because everyone was just like, oh, everyone's got COVID, like half the crew. Like so many. I was like half the crew, but like, you don't know what's Law and Order. There's like 4 Law and Order shows shooting right now. So, but either way, it was a TV show, and COVID's no joke. So that's how also you can get some work. And catch up on these comments. So Andrew, the plan for next Sunday, I literally have no idea, because I think my live stream subjects are like, I go through the week and then I feel like, oh, this is something that is really like a recurring theme during the week, and then I talk about it. And I think the winter slowdown and the fatigue is something that it was coming up a lot, because like people were just quitting and everyone's worried about jobs and stuff like that. So I have no idea for next Sunday. If you guys have a topic that I should talk about next Sunday, please put it in the chat, because I would love your suggestions. Anything you were like, how the hell, I was wondering about this, or what do you do? Like, I'm happy to cover those topics. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. You helped me to excel as a PA, and so I went from health and safety. Yes, health and safety monitor on set too within a month because of your video. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Gosh, like those types of comments, actress Angie, like warms my heart so much, because if my videos are like helping people, it really, really makes my day. It really does. And I actually had someone I met on set last week. Was it last week? Yes, last week on, I think, Tuesday. I was working at the car stage in New York, and his name is Kai, and he was like, wait, are you beyond film school? You're Amber, right? And I was like, yeah, how's it going? And it was at the end of the night, we were wrapping out, and he was just like, I'm so happy to meet you. Oh my God, your videos like changed my life. And I was like, oh, like it was a very, very, I love the fact that like my videos have helped, and that's why I started this all in the beginning, because I'm like, there are people like me. I mainly make these videos, and I do this because I'm trying to help past Amber because there was like nothing out there to help me in my journey, and I was like, I have to help other people. There's other people who are like me. I know there's other people like me. So thank you so much. And that's the thing, is like, if you're working in the COVID department or the health and safety department on your shows, like that is a really, really good way, really, really good way to like segue into another position. Like, and also like I've recently gotten a lot of like crafty folks on New York sets. They go from crafty to electric, and like they've gone through, like they start somewhere, they do it for a little while, they get their face out there, they start talking to people, and then they like branch out into the department they want to be in. And I just love that I can help folks. Thank you so much for that. Oh, thank you. And it's, oh my goodness, thank you so much, everyone. Like, that's so much love. I love it. So that is, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to start my birthday celebrations. Thank you so much for watching and for commenting. Thanks for joining my live stream. I really, really love, I really love doing this. I get really nervous when I'm doing this, but also like I love it. And I have videos coming out. The next video coming out is going to be the updated version of writing your resume. So let's that's what's in store for you guys. And let me tell you, in this video, I just got okay. It took me a long time to edit this video, this resume updated video that I just made. There's a lot going on, and I feel like my writing has gotten a lot better, and like my editing has gotten a lot better, and I feel like my humor's coming in a little bit better in all of this stuff, and I feel like that's just the way I want my videos to go. But this resume video, there's so much happening. Like I'm almost like it feels like ADHD. I have no idea. Like it's very, very. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew. I feel like I don't know. When I watch this video, I'm like, there's so much going on. If these people don't stay engaged when they watch this video, they're insane. They have like I did it's a lot of editing. It took me, I think, about gosh, it took me like I tried to do it an hour this one day, and I was like, I can't do it. I felt overwhelmed because I knew it was going to be a hard edit, and then I did it for like fucking 6-7 hours yesterday, and I'm just finishing up. I exported it. Now I have to do all of the stuff, the description, tags, and whatever. I just finished my thumbnail this morning. It's a whole lot of work. So you guys better watch this damn resume video. I'm like, God, if this bombs, I'm gonna be so upset. Okay, so I am